Hey, good morning. Happy Thursday.
Hello.
Everyone live, everyone listening. We know and we love it. Absolutely. This is going to be a good one. Yes. Hello. Wow. Look at that. Beautiful sunset. Julie's made all of her wonderful, man, that totem that she made. Love it.
Oh yeah, those are really cool.
People, yep, getting going. So, all right, everyone, this is going to be super exciting. I'm really excited about this. This is our weekly energy and mindset webinar, helping everyone out, changing people's lives, doing fun stuff when it comes to energetic alignment and their mindset. And this is a fun one for me. So I'm real excited about this. My name is Zach. This is Monique, the amazing. I've been a real estate investor for over 10 years, and Monique here is an intuitive healer, an energy coach, and holy smokes, like a crazy slump busting, get you over your limiting beliefs and everything in this world and just make you aware of everything that's going on in life, just because energy is all around us. And so let's play with that. Let's use that to our advantage and not let it suck us down a black hole, but instead let it spiral us upwards into awesomeness and attract everything that we want into this world. Mm-hmm. Our mantra is always energy before action. So here we go. We got to recalibrate our mind so that all the action that we take is through this lens of awesomeness and possibility and attracting all those things towards us with ease, with grace. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Super, super fun. This has been, what is this now? Week 13 that we've been doing that. Super awesome. This one is all about making your dreams a reality. And what's a great way that you can do that? Well, it's something that I've been seeking and iterating on, revising for my whole for my adult entrepreneurial life. I've been an entrepreneur for a while, but just always trying to get a little bit better. And so I've created this thing called this manifesting matrix, something that's gone through a few revisions. And it just helps me in my best times be even better. And in my worst times, holy smokes, it gives me that guiding light to take me to where I want to be. So I'm going to first drop this in the chat. You don't have to download this right now. But you can also find this on almost all of the social media posts that I've done in the last week on my story, all of that. Download this, get in there. But this is going to help explain all the little tweaks, all the little parts of this manifesting matrix in general.
Mm-hmm. And as Zach explains the manifesting matrix to everybody, I just want you to keep in mind that a core component of manifestation, which we're always manifesting, but a core component of manifestation, as we've talked about the last few weeks, is to focus your energy into where you want to go, what you want to create, not what you're moving from or what you don't want. Because our focus is very powerful. And wherever we put our focus, we're putting our thoughts. And wherever we put our thoughts, our feelings will follow. And wherever our thoughts and feelings are directed, our actions will then begin to align with our overall thoughts and feelings. Thus, our overall energetic vibration will shift. And as our vibration shifts, we're atomic. So the message that we're sending to our atoms, they're shifting at a vibrational frequency. And when one atom shifts, it causes a ripple effect to the atoms around it. So then eventually, as we keep our focus strong, that ripple effect gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then eventually we have become a new vibrational frequency. And now we're impacting the world around us because all of this is atomic as well. And when we can shift the world around us by shifting our vibrational frequency, that's when over time, the world around us begins to reflect back to us our overall vibrational frequency. And this is manifestation. And so when Zach talks to you guys about the manifesting matrix, the focus is focus, right? It is focusing your energy. It's funneling your energy into being intentional about your day, because it really is a superpower. Intention is a superpower. And when you can be intentional about what's the energy I'm embodying as I move into this? How am I showing up? How am I dressing? How do I feel right now? What are my thoughts around this? And are they conducive to what I ultimately want? Because if they're not, your reality is going to show you that. And then you're going to be like, what the heck? Why do I keep finding myself in these situations? And then we got to do some deep diving to figure out where those beliefs are being held, or the feelings you're holding on to that are not cohesive with the reality that you want. But overall, this tool is to help you funnel your energy into focusing on the ideal outcome, not moving away from the less than ideal outcome, but moving towards the ideal one.
Yeah, always focusing on that future, because of course, if you're focusing on the past, even to say like, I don't want to do this thing anymore, you're focusing on that thing. Like if you want to, the question of don't think of an elephant.
Yeah.
And think of, you're thinking of a stupid elephant right now.
Our mind does not know the negative. It does not know the concept of the negative. It does not register the negative. So when we say, I don't want this, or don't do that, or don't think about that, where does your mind go? Right to wanting that, right to thinking about that. And so we have to, or right to trying to avoid doing that thing that you don't want to do. So instead of saying, I don't want this, let's just shift to, what do I do want? What do I want to create? So then you can focus on that and begin to shift your overall thoughts, feelings, vibration towards what you do want.
Yeah, and those things will show up in your life, and you'll notice them in your life, and you'll be so excited. You're like, wow, this is really happening. You know, the rule of threes in the good way. It's like, oh, 3 good things happened to me today. So funny. So just to give you guys a little story as a background, this right now, this manifesting matrix I put together, it's in its 3rd version. It's been something that I've just been always using and tweaking, and just always trying to align myself to that better future self that I have, and figuring out what the heck is going on. Because of course I didn't meet Monique when I was first developing this thing, and she helped uncover a lot of those mind blocking things that we all have inside of us. So I was just taking things that I learned from society, things that I learned in organizational and prioritization type of items as an entrepreneur. And I just took all these things to keep that positive mindset moving forward. And I kept pulling them together and saying, how can I make this better in my life? Because it wasn't just the good times that I needed it. It was the bad times. So it's a slump buster for me. If you're ever feeling real bad, man, I go and I grab this thing. I'm like, okay, all right, I guess it's about time I use this thing again. And just, it helps me through that. And it's like riding a bike. Once you have those training wheels, you get riding a bike, you're like, wow, I don't need training wheels anymore. And then you just go. It becomes a part of you. It's just ingrained. But then, yeah, you might have a bad day where something happens. Okay, pop those training wheels back on. You can still ride a bike. It's like, all right. So yeah, the 3rd version, just to let you know, my background, if you don't know, I've been an engineer, an architect, and goodness gracious, we are chronic overthinkers by profession. We have to deep thinking as an engineer. Oh my gosh, risk mitigation, critical path thinking for project management. So it's like super deep thinking. And then I say, okay, I don't really like that type of stuff anymore. I go into architecture, which is broad knowledge. Instead of a lot about one thing, it's a little bit about a lot of things. And again, it's just lots of thinking. And I found this thing called meta thinking. Who are these architects of people? Meta thinking is the thinking about thinking. Holy smokes, all the ways that you can think. And also trusting in the process, though. Trusting in the process for architecture, that gives me that peace, that calm, that's like, okay, let me just get in that groove. And we don't necessarily know what the outcome is going to be, but we know that we've got a wonderful process. And if we follow that, it's the outcome is going to be exactly what it needs to be. And it's going to show up. It's going to be finished on time, on budget, with all the things that we want it to do. So it embodies that awesomeness of manifesting buildings. That's what architects do. They manifest those buildings. They make them a reality from everyone's desires. So this whole thing came just from this manifesting matrix, started in this emotional low that I was having. At the time, it was a divorce. And it was the stress. I was starting a business. I went back to school for architecture and thinking, oh, I don't want to be an engineer anymore. I'm going to figure out a way to make more money with architecture, even though architects make less money. I put myself in that problem. Like, I'll figure that out. I have trust and faith that that's going to work out. But because of that, I had to prioritize my daily actions. What was I doing? And I found this thing called a priority matrix as opposed to just a to-do list. So adding some priority to everything, that satisfied the engineering mind in me, because we'd all understand critical path and what we need to do to get there, and that we waste a lot of time in the mundane tasks just to feel good, like we're checking something off a to-do list box. You ever feel that? So that was the first version that I created. And then from there, and in all of that chaos of having a divorce, finding myself, starting running a marathon, there was lots of excitement and stress of discovering real estate investing. That's when I found it, was in that low. I found all that. So I was excited about all those possibilities, making money from no money and destroyed credit. But it was very stressful. If you've ever started a business, you can imagine extremely lots of unknowns and items like that. But I was transitioning from this place where I had 5 degrees and I felt very confident of pieces of paper meant that I knew something in this world, to this whole unknown of real estate investing. There's people that have no degrees in it and that are like killing it because they don't need those types of things, right? But as I'm starting out everything, it's just, I was feeling lots of overwhelm, feeling behind in my life because, man, I spent these 10 years getting degrees for things. And here I am starting a completely other path again. So I felt behind and I needed to focus my energy and keep motivated while I was focusing that. So that got me to the second iteration, the second version of this manifesting matrix. And then I ended up teaching that to people as part of a curriculum of a university that I started for real estate investing. I'm like, hey, this is really cool. And I talked to the other educators that were there. I'm like, you guys think this would benefit other people? They said, are you kidding me? Like, heck yeah. And I can tell them how you're in a low and how it really helps you out in those times. I'm like, okay, all right, let me teach this with people. Because originally I just created this for me, though. It was just a personal document to be like, how do I organize my day, prioritize my tasks, keep motivated, get things going, focus on what I'm trying to do, and attract all that towards me, and feel calm in all of that chaos that's going on at that moment, all of those different tasks. Well, that all happened, and then I got really successful and driven, and it helped me achieve all those things I put my mind to. It really did. And then with all that, though, the problem is I didn't incorporate some other good, healthy self-care healing things. It was just focused on work, really. Like, how much work can I do? More work. Yum, good. More work. All right. Getting success, right? Crazy. That led me to just completely stress overload, a diagnosis that's related to stress in general, like getting diagnosed with MS. Holy smokes, literally my brain just fried from going crazy because I wasn't taking care of myself at that point. So then this next version was created where I was transitioning again from that frantic, chaotic overaction in life to just a more peaceful, aligned life with lots of possibilities that would just show up exactly on time for me. I adopted a lot of beliefs that were like that. And in doing so, it helped me find my purpose, my why in life. It allowed me to time block, to understand what I was spending my time on and what I want to be spending my time on, and just protecting my time and my energy in person. It helps me craft an even happier morning with lots of self-care within that. And it made the ending my day with grace, love, celebration, and just anticipation for the tomorrow. anticipation for the very next day. And so it kept every day very nicely, put it all up those 24 hours and said, good job. These are the wonderful things that you did. Let's go attack tomorrow. But right now you can fall asleep and enjoy that slumber, get that self-healing repair. So I just wanted to talk a little bit, have Monique talk a little bit, just because we've talked about manifesting for the last 6 weeks or so, but just giving a little bit of a cliff note on manifesting so that people have this in here before we go into the matrix and everything related to that.
Yes, Julie agrees with you. Just over in the comments. Thank you, Angel. My hair is naturally wavy, but I rarely wear it like this anymore. And yes, so one thing that you said, babe, that I want to also reiterate is that helped you like celebrate your wins throughout the day. And that is a really big key in manifesting, because remember, I've said this so many times and I'll keep saying it. We want what we want because of how we think we will feel when we have it. We want money because we think we'll feel safe. We want love because we think we'll feel happiness or love. We want to travel because we think we'll feel free. Whatever it is, we want weight loss because we think it comes with confidence. And we don't realize that until we have that thing, the feeling is not an assured feeling with it. And what happens is, yes, that thing can happen, but then you get there and you're like, I still don't feel safe. I still don't feel confident. I still don't feel loved or happy. What's wrong with me? I still don't feel free because I'm only thinking about what I have to do when I get home. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just we've been conditioned to focus on the hardships of life and the negativity that comes with every day. And so with this tool that Zach's giving you guys, it's this ability to begin to shift your mindset to one of celebration. So when you can celebrate the small things, the big things are like a no-brainer. But in our culture, we have a hard time celebrating smaller things because, like, well, that's silly. It's just expected. Yeah, it's expected, but is it expected of a 4-year-old? No. So how can you say it's expected? When does it become expected versus celebrated? You were celebrated at one point in time for tying your own shoes. You were celebrated at one point in time for walking 3 steps. When's the last time you pat yourself on the back for walking across the room? Because it becomes expected. And so therefore our threshold for celebration becomes higher. So this tool will really help you guys just kind of wrap your mind around, it's okay to celebrate myself. And actually it feels really good. And that is a huge component in manifesting. So when we talk about manifesting, remember, we want to make a decision of what we want. Step 1, we decide what we want. From there, we ask, okay, I've made this decision. This is the direction I'm moving in. Now I'm going to ask for the actual thing that I desire. And then from there, we have to align our energy in order to receive what we want to, what it is that we want to desire, that we want. And how do we align our energy? So this is like number 3 is broken down into some steps. So how do we align our energy? We go into our beliefs and we ask if our beliefs are conducive to this desire that we want. Where do we still feel sticky and icky around having what we want? For weight loss, it might be, I know when I was on a weight loss journey, I felt very grossed out by the possibility of older men looking at me when I was like 23 or 24 and saying inappropriate things to me because I was bartending at the time. And so that keeping my body safe was a priority. Safety is your number 1 priority. So keeping my body safe was a priority. So I wasn't letting myself losing the weight. And then like with love, we want to protect our heart. So we might think that in order to have a relationship, we need to be vulnerable, which feels really scary. So therefore, we're not going to let ourselves get there. So what beliefs do you have that are misaligning you with your desires? You have to change those beliefs. And then what beliefs are more supportive of that desire? And then from there, how would it feel to have that desire? So if you've already received it, how does that feel? Probably going to feel grateful, probably going to feel excited. You're going to celebrate. So again, we want to align to that other side of having that desire through our emotions. So I always encourage people to gather 3 to 5 emotions that you're going to feel when you have that thing, and then practice embodying them throughout your day. Even if you just pick one to focus on every day, and then you pick another one to focus on. Maybe you get really good at the one, so then you pick 2 to focus on. Because embodiment is a huge piece of manifesting that a lot of people overlook. And then from there, we begin to take action. So we begin to take that aligned action. So we've decided, we've asked, we've aligned our energy, and now we're taking aligned action. Okay. The aligned action then is when I'm in a higher elevated state, when my emotions feel really aligned with that desire, when I feel really confident and feel really good. If I trusted that I was always supported and that I couldn't fuck this up, I can't mess this up. I'm going to get this right regardless. And that what I want wants me to. And I was totally supported and totally safe in my actions. What would I do if I fully trusted? And it's from that space, then you begin to take action. And it might not make sense to your logical mind at first. And that's okay, because your logical mind can't grasp anything that's unfamiliar. And your future reality might feel unfamiliar to you. And that's why we go through this process where we familiarize it. So after we take aligned action, then we notice, where are we pressurizing this thing from happening? Where are we pressurizing the goal? Where are we bottlenecking it? And from there, we have to relieve the pressure, because if we're putting pressure on something happening, we are literally telling ourselves this is a threat. And your subconscious mind, the number one goal your subconscious mind has is to keep you alive. And it will go through hell and high water to avoid any threats to keep you alive. So if you're pressurizing that desire and you feel stress in your body when you think of having that thing, or you feel stress in your body around not having that thing right now, but you're thinking of having that. And because our mind doesn't pick up on the negatives, we're like, oh, I don't have that yet. I don't have that yet. So because you're associating having that thing with this stress in your body, your subconscious mind is like, no way, do not pass go, do not collect $200, abort mission, getting off this ship. Because you being alive is way more important than you having that dream vacation, or having that income, or having that relationship, or having that health or body. So we have to understand this. So once we've decided, and then we've asked, and then we have aligned our energy, and then we have from there taken that aligned action, and then we find where we're pressurizing these goals, we can relax and back off a little bit. And then we, again, revert back to step 3, where we are aligning our energy, and we ask, what beliefs are coming up that I feel so much pressure around this? Do I believe I'm not worthy of this? Do I believe that it's not going to happen? Do I believe because it hasn't happened today, it's not going to happen? Miracles can happen. If miracles can happen, why can't they happen to me? Mm-hmm. So it's just about shifting those beliefs, not from 0 to 100, but to a belief that feels a little bit better, a stepping stone. And then from there, then you repeat that to yourself, and you start repeating it to other people, and you start believing it to be true. And then you go to the next stepping stone belief. And pretty soon you're shifting your own atomic structure. Therefore, you're influencing your atoms, you're influencing the atoms of the universe around you, and your reality is responding. And you can ask yourself, if you're like, well, I don't know where my limiting beliefs are, ask, what areas in your life are you experiencing that are less than desirable? What would someone have to believe in order to experience that right now? That's your limiting belief. If I believe that every time things were going good, there's some huge thing that blew up in my face, or is that blowing up in my face as we speak, then like, what part of me would have to believe something in order for that to be true? I'd have to believe that it can never be this good. There's always a catch. There's always a downside to things. It's like, don't let yourself expect too many good things in a row, because there's always going to be a downside. And then ask yourself, this is one of the most important questions you guys could ever ask yourself in your entire life. I swear. It has helped me so much. I teach it to all of my students. I've learned it from my teachers, and it is for those beliefs that do not feel good in your body. We know a belief is not true when it doesn't feel good. For those beliefs, is this the ultimate truth? Is this the ultimate truth? So if I believed that there's always a downside, if I believe that it can never be that good, if I believe the, oh, well, the what if of the negative, is that the ultimate truth? Chances are it's not.
No.
So you're proving to yourself this belief is not 100% true. And if I know now that this belief is not 100% true, I can stop grasping onto it for dear life, and I can release it and say, okay, well, if that's not 100% true, and there really is infinite amount of possibilities that could happen, which one do I want to be my truth? And from there, you get to pick that next belief. And that's how you align your energy. And then again, you align your energy, and then you take aligned action, and then things will start happening in your life because you won't be able to control it, because energy controls matter, not the other way around. And when energy controls matter and we align our energy, crazy things happen because we can't perceive it, because our conscious mind can only fathom what it already knows. And if you're moving into an area that is new to you, like maybe a new income level or a new relationship or a new house or whatever, you have no clue how that's going to show up to your life. You only know, literally, your only job is to get clear on what you want, to begin telling yourself that it's possible for you, and then to begin creating supportive beliefs that align with what you want, and start feeling into the having of it already and take action from there. That is manifestation in a nutshell. And so, excuse me, this tool that Zach will give you will help you be able to do this on a daily basis.
Yeah. And to Angel, to your comment, yeah, you're not going to be there necessarily every day, but we're just getting a little bit better. Like when Monique says, you're not going to go from 0 to 100, but you go from 0 to 1. There's a step. Let's take a 100-day step to get towards there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a quarter, basically, right? And so let's move a little bit.
Because Angel, you said just yet. And I really would just want to touch on the importance of that word real quick. Sorry, babe, but just on the importance of that word, because it is so important. So if there is something in your life that you don't have, or it hasn't been created, or you're not making that income level, always, always, always add yet to the end of it. Because that tells your mind, that tells your subconscious mind, which your subconscious mind is the one running the show. 95% of your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and how you identify is because of your subconscious mind and what you believe to be true about the world around you and your place in it. And so when you say yet, that opens you up to the possibility of it happening, versus just shutting off all possibility. So it says to your subconscious, not here yet, but I'm on my way. It's still a possibility. So always, always, always use the word yet for something that you don't have, but you want, hasn't happened, but you want it to, you're working towards it, but it's not here yet. Whatever it is, always, always, always add in that word yet, and just notice how it just feels a little bit more uplifting, because you're opening yourself up to possibility. You're not closing it down.
Yeah. Words are so powerful. It's one of the things that we use all the time. So heck yeah. So thank you for bringing that up, both you lovely ladies. Cool. So you got a little overview of manifesting, cliff notes for all of that. I just want to move into daily routines, morning routines. What do you do when you wake up?
Because this helps you with it.
Because this will help you with the morning routine. Mm-hmm. Right. So that, leading into this tool that I'm using. So part of it is it has a morning routine, and it helps you with your morning routine. If you don't have one, I would say incorrect. You have a routine regardless of whether you're intentional about it or not. So let's get a little more intentional about what we're doing in our morning, because there's this thing called habit stacking that I'm sure you guys intuitively understand, you realize, you notice around you. But bad habits stack just like good habits stack at the end of the day. So a bad day example, type of bad habit, is maybe you even start your day and you watch TV. You ever see those days where you you're avoiding maybe doing something, avoiding what you should be doing. You put the TV on, just say, oh, just one episode. And then what's that turn into? Whose example am I using?
Speaking
Probably
from
my own.
experience
Yeah.
there.
But it's just like, from example, it can just go into, but I've heard it from other people
Yeah.
too. My friends that would tell me, it's when they start their day and they just get up, they go and they do their thing, they're good.
Yep.
But when they turn that TV on, they watch one thing, it leads into watching another thing,
Or
which
even
leads into being on
scrolling on your
social
phone.
media. Yes, scrolling on that leads to more scrolling. Or if you're in front of the TV, maybe you're going to eat too. So it's like, oh, well, these things go together, like ice cream and cake, and you just get some food while you're watching this. Oh, let me just eat while this episode. Then you click another episode, then you eat some more. Great. Or when you're driving and people smoke. I'm not a smoker, but people drive and they always intuitively, they'll
Mhm.
pick for the cigarette, they'll light that up. There's so many habits that are stacked together. Notice the bad ones, and then let's go and do some good habit stacking. So a good example of habit stacks, you wake up, maybe you've got some type of thing you do right in the morning, might be a workout. Maybe it's a quick one. Maybe it's a little burst. Maybe you actually go to the gym right away. For some people, they're morning workout people. That's awesome. They feel that. And then from there, they go and they eat a healthy breakfast. Maybe they sit and they do a little gratitude journaling, but they're just feeling lots of positivity. All of those things, they just stack right on because they know I wake up, I work out. I work out, I go eat healthy. I eat healthy, I then sit and I do these things in my journal. It becomes second nature at that point because you're stacking those good habits. So part of what I'm giving to you guys is all about stacking good behaviors together. Because again, it wants to get you out of your baddest days. And so it can be a crutch for you. But then also, besides your morning routine, you can imagine, well, why don't we have an evening routine? So we can cap our day off with excitement. What are all the accomplishments? We're so quick to look at all of our own faults in life. When do you focus on your accomplishments? Gosh, should do it every day. That way you feel accomplished every day, because we're always accomplishing things every day. So let's celebrate those, get into those, right? And then include little things like where you enjoy why you're alive, why you're even here to begin with. It's not to work. We're not here to work. We're here because of maybe our family. To me, we enjoy sunsets at night. Those are really nice things. Maybe you're a night worker outer. That's cool too. Make time for that. Whatever your hobby is, do those types of things because you've already had your accomplishments for the day. So now you're moving into a more happy self-care type of situation to set you up to have an awesome tomorrow. So it's always getting your subconscious aligned with all those things that you want so that you do set up for amazing tomorrow, because today was already amazing. But then you can also imagine that the middle part of your day is important too. And so even, I created something where we can just continually get through everything that we want. And that's where our production happens. That's where all of our money making abilities happen, where we're achieving those things for the future, for our business, for our job, whatever that is. But we need to make sure that we're prioritizing and we're doing those actions that actually help us reach that goal at the end of the day too.
So one thing with your guys' comments and that Zach is touching on, first, Julie, you tell myself you don't need those things that you want. And that's lack thinking. Yes. So the energy of need and just bare minimum is different than the energy of thriving. Surviving and thriving are different. We need things to survive. We don't need things to thrive. So if we're operating from a frequency of survival, when really we want to be thriving, we're never going to be able to experience what we can when we're in that frequency of thriving. So we have to shift from, do I need this? No, but do I desire it? And how does it feel to desire it? Does it feel good to desire it? If so, of course, that's thriving. That's you thriving. So if it feels good to desire it, then you have to just give yourself permission to allow yourself to move into that space. And maybe at first you just start with, do I desire to go get dinner instead of cooking it? And maybe that feels very abundant to you. Or do I desire to go to take an hour out of my day and go for a walk instead of sitting in front of my desk? And that feels abundant to you. So start small and then build that desire muscle and build that thriving muscle, because we have to move out of a frequency of survival to thriving, because they're not the same. So we won't be able to experience it as the same. And then with struggling to develop a morning routine, I also struggle with a morning routine. And sometimes not having a routine and doing things differently based on how you feel is a morning routine. And sometimes that serves you. I know for me, some days I'll read, some days I'll journal, some days I will just lay in bed a little extra longer and I'll just visualize what I want because I don't want to get out of bed yet. Sometimes I'll talk with Zach about what we're grateful for. So the most important thing here is acting as if you already were in the position that you want to be in position, if you were already experiencing that reality, if you were already living that life, what would they do? How would they start their day? What things would they do in the morning? Maybe they don't journal every morning, but maybe journaling is something that they love and it feels good when it feels good.
Or maybe they like to try out new things in the morning, all these little things. Just say, okay, this is good for me now, and I just want to try.
Yeah. And then as it doesn't feel good for you anymore, you shift because
Yeah.
you give yourself permission to shift.
Yeah.
And maybe that's part of your morning routine, is just giving yourself the permission to allow the routine to be what it needs to be that supports you. That's the most important thing, is you want it to support you. You want it to be in alignment with the version of you that's already on the other side of their goals. So that's the acting as if part. That's that taking aligned action part. And maybe the version of you that's already on the other side of their goals, they don't sit and they don't journal for an hour, but they like to move their bodies. They like to eat a healthy breakfast. They like to drink some water. They like to get some morning sunlight in their eyes. And maybe that's what you do for a little bit, and that serves you until it doesn't anymore.
Right.
And then you shift to something else. So just know that there is flexibility here, and it's really about finding what works for you. But having a system and a structure can be beneficial until you realize, like, because it will help you realize, like, okay, this is a good system and structure. And within this system and structure, this doesn't work for me anymore. So I'm going to try this, and I'm just going to implement this into this system, and I'm going to implement this into this system. And then you'll eventually find what really likes you. But yeah, start with something simple. Yeah, definitely. And then work from there. We don't want to overwhelm ourselves.
Awesome. Love it. Isn't she great, everyone? I think she's awesome. I would marry her. We're engaged, by the way.
Yeah. I'd have a kid with you. We're also pregnant.
Yeah, we're also pregnant. So all right. So I want to just go into a little bit of this evolution because yeah, she is amazing.
Oh,
right on,
you.
man. Yeah, so I want to go into a little bit of this evolution. So I'll show you that. And because this has been going on, I was looking back at the images from this. And I mean, this first image I'm going to show you is from 2015. So holy smokes, that's 8 years ago. This thing has been in the making for me. And so that's why, yeah, I'm excited to give you all of this. So, all right, let's move this into screen share mode officially. Boom. Boom. Here we go. All right. Share that. So I'm going to move this a little over here, and I'm going to put this thing on so you can see where my mouse is. Maybe. So, all right. Here we go. All right. Now you can see. So this right here was my original matrix. This is when I first started understanding that to-do lists are crap and they don't prioritize anything that you would want. The engineer in me would be like, where's my focus? Where's my critical path? But this whole matrix is this idea that you need to take your to-do list and prioritize it. There's going to be items in this vertical column here that you want to do now, and there's items that you don't need to do right now, that they're not serving your immediate need, whatever your goal is. And so they go in the do later column. And so shifting between doing it now and doing it later, that's important. And then crucial is the horizontal axis is all about, is this task crucial to that goal? If it's not crucial at all, then it goes down here, and it might be something that supports the goal in the future, might be future leading, it might be ancillary type of things you have to do, like I need to do my taxes, I need to write this to-do list, send this email of things, doing all of those things, but is it really going to get me towards whatever goal that I want? So crucial items go in here, do now ends up in here. So then you end up focusing, all of your real energy should go in this upper left quadrant. And so all these other items will either go down here, which these ones you'll end up delegating off to somebody else, or these ones that are due later, we don't need to focus right now until they become urgent, and then they move into the do now. But this helps you focus real quickly. So this was my first one 8 years ago, figuring out, all right, I like to jot down future ideas and what my tasks are for the day. Because again, I was coming from a place where there was just an overwhelm of everything, and I just wanted to feel a little bit of excitement. So then it moved into this iteration
This is overwhelming to me.
This is a little overwhelming to you. Yeah. So I first went into a little more chaos, but again, this was just for me, guys. This was my engineer. This was my architecture mind being like, okay, I was having some craziness going on in my life. I had some depression from, my marriage that was failed, but I never would have found creative finance or real estate if it wasn't for her and it failing. So I'm very thankful for that. But it turned into this. And then I put this priority matrix that's on here. So again, my tasks would go on here. This is what I have to do immediately. These ones I do soon. All of these items here, you need to learn to delegate out, delegation to either an admin, to VAs, whatever that. You quickly learn what should go into that column, and anything that isn't crucial to your path and that you don't have to do right now that you need to do later, you either have to move that thing or get that the heck off of your to-do list. So it helps you not prioritize doing those little junky tasks that might make you feel good, but don't push your goals. So then I wanted, it was difficult for me at the time to even wake up and brush my teeth, things like that. I just wouldn't want to get into that mode. I would start down that downward path of those bad habits, and they would just stack on each other. So I thought, all right, if I just get a checkbox for waking up, all right, cool. Next one.
Because that's also pleasing to the mind. You're checking something off. It's showing completion. So this is what we were saying. And like, even Peggy, I never thought to start with something more simple. What's more simple than waking up? Like if you're alive, you're going to wake up. Yeah, and so just checking that off, knowing that you're absolutely going to do that, that can help get your mind in that state of completion, of accomplishment, of celebration. So you're really helping yourself start off in this space of, I'm already doing things. I'm already getting things done.
And then, moving into
forward,
into all of that, some days working from home, I wouldn't really even get dressed, right? But there's some benefit of getting dressed for lots of different reasons. But I also included things that I wanted to do. I'm like, okay, let me do something in the morning and something at night. It wasn't very structured, but I'm like, let me just make something. And then including some affirmations. And what are some good affirmations? And I started to love it. And I'd always start out, I'm the master of my thoughts. I am the master of my thoughts. I control my thoughts. I'm the master of my thoughts. Say that a couple times just to kind of cement that into my head for all the other affirmations. Again, I didn't meet this lovely lady yet. I didn't understand the whole world of energetic alignment around you. I was dealing with my own limiting beliefs and fears in the world. So I had to condition myself. And so I'd put some other things on there. I want healthy eating choices, work out daily, being on time. The right circumstances and the right people are already here and will show up on time. Gosh, I love that one. That gives me a sense of calm too. And then I had some evening ones. And then on the back of this, I'm like, all right, it's two-sided. So let me put some notes and some sketching, because I would draw, diagram different things, future ideas again, and then moving that into just, this is the sheet that I would carry around, and I would always be checking something off, and I would cross off my tasks when I put them on here, and I would focus on exactly what was needed on that daily tasks. So this whole thing ended up changing again this last year. I'm like, okay, let me design it more, draw it, everything from that I've learned. And that turned into this that I'm giving you guys. And this is my daily manifesting matrix. So it's a little more polished. It's a little more calm. It's not as anxiety provoking. I liked green, so I made the last one green. This is less anxiety green. but yeah, this is where it's currently at. And it's got a
Can I talk real quick? One thing that I really like about this one is it has a weekly focus.
Mhm.
And so with this, you can put your intention here. Remember how important being intentional is when we're creating our ideal reality. And so maybe your focus is making money. Maybe your focus is losing 5 pounds or becoming stronger. Maybe your focus is feeling just more gratitude throughout the day. Maybe your focus is meeting someone or going on dates. So you can really create one of these for different areas of your life so that you can organize your mind, because I know from both of our life experiences that when we're really, really focused on creating something and wanting something, your mind can start popping up ideas like popcorn, like, oh my gosh, what about this? Or what about this? Or what about this? And then pretty soon you're doing things that are totally unrelated to that focus, to that intention, that original intention. So I love that he added the weekly focus here, the intention. I'm pretty sure that I encouraged that.
Oh, I'm sure. Because at this point, this was in this last year that I put this together.
Laminated his so we can dot all over it and adjust it as needed. That's a great idea.
Yeah. See, and see, this is the 3rd iteration, but I anticipate a 4th iteration in the future.
Well, like, now let's just focus.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. But the idea is that we're just always getting better.
Yeah.
We're just always striving for more. And so, yeah, that weekly focus for me, sometimes that's just buying houses. Like this week, gosh darn it, I'm going to buy a house. It could be business development. Like I want to work on the back end systems this week, because you don't want to do that all the time necessarily, right? But gosh darn it, this week, I've been saying I'm going to do this forever, so I'm going to do it. Or if I'm going to a conference, I'll just put networking on there, and I'll change some of my affirmations that I'm so amazing at networking. Like overcoming some of those fears that we might have. And it's just on networking. So literally that also gives me a sense of calm, because I don't have to focus on anything else. I just want to focus on this one thing, that networking. And so we'll briefly touch on some of these different sections. The weekly focus is a good one. Of course, we've got this priority matrix that's right here with the little notes to help remind you, delegate this whole section out. If not now, know that in the future, you will be delegating that out, and that will free you up to do your highest and your best and your most producing thing that nobody else can do.
And that also helps to wrap your mind around delegation is receiving support. So it's safe to receive support in these areas, because for a lot of us, especially, well, I was going to say especially women, because I work with mostly women, but men too, it's hard for us to ask for support in some areas. I understand some of us have VAs and assistants, but maybe it's just non-crucial, but due now is something that you need in your personal life and you need to delegate that out. So I think it really helps your mind wrap around the concept of it's okay to ask for support. It's not weak to ask for support. I'm just prioritizing my time and my energy. And right now, this is not a top priority. However, someone would love to do it for me.
And you're leading into that future self of yours that you're not doing all those things yourself. You are part of a team. You're part of something that's bigger, because isn't that where you see yourself too? You're not going to do all these small mundane tasks all the time. You're going to grow and give other people the opportunity to grow with you. And so, yeah, it's great to set that thought pattern before, you're even necessarily comfortable with it. So that's why it's good for training wheels to put right on your bike.
Yeah. And he opened up the lines at the bottom for you to write in your own morning routines, your affirmations, because one way to reprogram your subconscious is for your subconscious to hear these new phrases, these new beliefs in your own language, right? We can give you examples all day long, but if they don't resonate with you, your subconscious is going to reject them. So it's important to have these and know it's going to evolve. Like every week, if you need a new routine, you can change it weekly with this. And we were talking at the beginning of some of us that don't really do well with routines, change it every week with this one. And so,
try it out.
Yeah. Just give yourself a fighting chance to really see what feels good, what feels most supportive throughout my day. When do I feel most energized?
Yeah, those are great questions to ask yourself as you're going through them, because those ones that make you feel more energized, that do support you, that feel just right in your life, that you love, Well, those are the ones that you might want to consider doing again.
Yeah, and you might notice as the seasons change, so do you.
Yeah.
And so you might want
Yeah.
different things, but the
Sure.
things that really stay constant with this tool is just that you are checking in on yourself. You are keeping commitments to yourself. You are repeating your affirmations. You're seeing them and repeating them. So we're activating multiple components of the brain, multiple parts of the brain. So that's even going to help us change our subconscious thinking even more.
So the thing that we have, that's this center one kind of stands out above the other ones, the morning and the night. And I call them happy morning and night because recurring tasks or morning routine doesn't even sound as good. Like, let's just call it a happy freaking morning. The happy
Creating
freaking
a
night.
happy morning. And
So our words are powerful, right? And so why, putting that why, and we did a little exercise about that last week, but putting that first and foremost right there so it stands out, you cannot miss that. Just like you can't miss your focus. It's boom, right in the center. What's your why? Yeah. Parents and helping others is my why in life. And so that's what I have on mine. And I'll share mine in just a second, one that I've used. And so, yeah, so in here, okay, you've got your why. And you've got your happy morning, and there's some routines that you'll put in there, and affirmations might be part of that in your morning, and you might have some in your nighttime. But this whole self-care steps, you got to take care of yourself. Like, you got to put your oxygen mask on first before you put on somebody else's. So what are your self-care steps that you love doing? Like, for me, it's spending time in nature. It's going on walks. It's working out. I always feel better after that. It's spending time with my loved ones. You know, that is even self-care.
And I really like that he put this in here too, because I know I encourage the self-care one, because when you're having bad days, the easiest thing is for you to do is to ignore yourself and your own needs and to just let yourself sulk in that energy. And sometimes that's what you need, but sometimes it's not. And so having it actually written out, things that I can do to feel better, what are some self-care steps for myself, having that written out, it gives you an option to be like, okay, I don't have to think about this. Oh yeah, I like walks. Oh yeah, I like to go to the gym. Oh yeah, I like to eat fruit. Oh yeah, I like to call my sister or call my best friend. Whatever it is, what are those self-care steps for you? Because if you're depleting yourself and you're not filling up your cup, then you're going to grow resentful of the people in your life that you are tending to. And you're going to grow resentful of the things in your life that are taking your energy, that are taking your time, and that are taking your effort or money. And because all of those are just energy, and you're the source of that energy. And so we have to be able to understand ourselves. And Peggy, you're saying you're currently sulking. So this would be a great option for you. One thing I always recommend my clients to do is to make a list of things that you know help you feel better. Things that you know help you feel better that have nothing to do with food, usually, unless it's like a nice nutritious meal, like cooking the nutritious meal or going grocery shopping for a nutritious meal, but typically that have nothing to do with food. What are some things that you know help you feel better? Always, mostly always, it's like spending some time out in nature. We are a part of nature, getting sun on your face, whatever that is, some type of movement. So creating that list for yourself, hang it up on your fridge so you can see it when you're in that space of sulking, because you have to do something to shift that energy. And we can shift that energy through movement, through sound, through breath, and just through getting in a new environment.
Yeah, I love that. And because I mean, it sounds so easy, guys, right? It's like, well, I know what I like. I know what makes me feel good. You think that until you get into one of those downward spirals, and then all you can see is the negative in those times. And all you see is, I don't feel good. Well, if you have something right smack in front of your face, you're like, oh yeah, that's right. You know, for me, I like to run. I like outdoors, nature. Why don't I just spend a little bit of time? And then you might even hear yourself saying, I don't have time for that right now. Holy crap, right? That's when you really, you need it even more, right? What's the wise old monk says that if you don't have 5 minutes for meditating today, then you need 10. Because it's just so important. And that's why I also put on here just my wake up time, because I also wanted to track, when did I wake up and when did I go to bed? Because sleep is when we heal ourselves. We need that sleep. It's so important. So again, being intentional about it, and how do you set yourself up for wonderful sleep at the end of this? I always like to ask myself, what am I looking forward to tomorrow? So I'm looking forward to blank tomorrow. And that could be going on a trip. That could be making some progress in your business. That could
Could just
be
be feeling better,
anything,
waking
right?
up, go doing something that you didn't get to today or that you just want to continue tomorrow. One thing that's really powerful about sleep is it is a time for us to, yes, physically reset and recalibrate and to heal. But energetically, it resets our energetic vibrational baseline. So if you are having a bad day, what do you want to do? You're just like, I just want to lay down. I want to sleep. I want to take a nap. So when you wake up, you are now in a new, fresh space. However, what we do, we're so good at, is we immediately remember what made us feel like shit the day before. And if we can stop ourselves from getting there by asking, what am I focusing on when I wake up? What's something that I'm looking forward to when I wake up? And then just immediately bounce into that and immediately get ourselves into that space of, this is what I was looking forward to. So this is what I'm going to do. If we can do that, then we allow ourselves that chance to get out of that sulking energy or get out of that depressed space or get out of that lower vibrating space. And we start off on a clean slate every morning. Every time you wake up, it's a clean slate. And it's just, are you giving yourself that chance to build off the clean slate, or are you pulling yourself back in like a slingshot and you're never just letting yourself go so that you can move forward?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so powerful. If you just think about what your next day you're excited about, you'll find yourself naturally going to bed feeling blissful, and you'll wake up and your subconscious has been processing that last thought that you had the whole time. And it was a good thought that you had. So lo and behold, you magically wake up magically happy and excited for that one thing again. And I mean, how blissful is that?
Yeah.
All right. So that's like a little overview of that. On the back of this thing, I've got this whole time blocking section, because if you're not aware of what you're doing in the day, you should try a time audit for a week just to see what you're spending your time on, where you like to work, where you don't like to work, what you're doing. And then, you know, honestly saying, am I productive? Am I doing what I wanted to do? Or am I just filling time with non-activity or just activity that's not in alignment with what I want? Of course, the spot for notes, I like to sketch and draw some things, another future ideas area.
Yeah.
But just to go into, here we go. Here's one that I created more for me at the end of the day. This is kind of like my morning. I wake up, drink a whole bunch of water. I'm going to chug that water. I'll do some affirmations and a little bit of gratitude right in here. Talk my affirmations and my gratitude. We always have this protein coffee that we whip up in our NutriBullet, but it's like 30 grams of protein in the morning and coffee. So hey,
the protein coffee.
Yeah, I mean, protein's so good, right? Muscles are the building blocks of our.
They are the organ of longevity.
Longevity.
Well.
Don't you guys want to live longer? Oh my gosh, let's get some more protein. Fills you up and starts your day right. I usually do a little bit of working out in there. I put some other things on here.
His work, he just does a quick burst workout in the morning. It's like 5-10 minutes of something just nonstop. And it really does change his energy.
Where I started this, I'm like, oh, you know, 10 minutes, whatever. It's just some amount of time, either doing a bunch of push-ups or like now it's 15 push-ups, 15 squats, some 15 lunges, and then plank hold for a minute and a half. But it started as just like 5 push-ups, 5 squats, 5 lunges, and 30 seconds of a plank hold. You do that for just a little bit in the morning, and your next 2 hours, you're going to just be a lot clearer because your body just started to awaken your mind at that point. You're getting going. We're stacking all these real good variables. So even if you were to work out later in the day, you're like, oh man, this later workout, that's the second workout I've done today already. You know, like, and even how powerful does that sound? To me, that just seems happier. My body feels better. Like, did you ever think you'd have 2 workouts a day every day? If you do just a quick one in the morning, you're good. You're good. And so I'll get into this. I'll fill out my matrix. You know, these are the things that I like. So throughout the day, I'm like, okay, remember, dummy, you like nature, you like walking. Why do you forget these things? Just top of mind. And then do your affirmations. And you might have a different journal for that. You might write them in. But the idea with this above is you can take this, you can write in your own little tasks and then photocopy it. Photocopy it and then use it from day to day. So, because whatever's the same, let's just photocopy it. And then, laminate it so that you can reuse it. Yeah, I like that. Absolutely. But nighttime affirmations too, besides remembering what I do for the day, like here's my end of day routine. I've got some tasks I do. I say, write down 3, you might not be able to read this, but I'll point where it is and you guys can download and follow later. But write down 3 wins from the day. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, done. Spend some quality time with the family, enjoy a sunset, something like that. Read a little bit, do my nighttime affirmations. Man, I've done my best for the day. I've earned my rest for the day. I like that it rhymes. I put love into all my deeds. I've used kindness in all my thoughts. I close this day with pure joy and now drift into a peaceful slumber. It just happy things. I talk about love. I talk about joy. I talk about kindness, things that resonate to me at the end of the day that just permeate my soul. Again, this was created when it was a time of strife and depression and just anxiety. So using these things to recalibrate my mind, that will then recalibrate my body, which will then recalibrate all of my actions that I do in the world. Holy smokes. That helps me out so much. Stack that with what I'm looking forward to and getting a good night's sleep. This point, yeah, we have to stop share. So that's a little bit about how I use that tool, and it's been wonderful. Do I use it every day? No. Do I use it when I have a bad day? Not enough. I'll tell you that. That's the thing, because you get complacent. Like our bodies are typically. Our minds are very complacent. They're like, I've solved that. We've moved on. We can go and attack this next thing. But then you might find that you fall off the track. You fall off the track and you get into some type of bad day. Well, this is a wonderful way of just resetting, bringing yourself right back to it. It's got all your little affirmations you've put together, we've worked on in this series. It incorporates happiness and joy and gratitude and all the things that you love for self-care. Start your day wonderfully, end your day wonderfully, prioritize every darn thing that you do. Holy smokes. Get your why right there in life. I love it. And to me, it was a game changer. And when I realized that, I just wanted to share that with everyone. So that's the point of me bringing this out. And luckily, I manifested this wonderful person into my life as well. Excellent. She just helps further that. And I love that she loves helping all of you guys out.
And one thing that as you build any type of new habit or routine, there are going to be hiccups. There are going to be setbacks. Our default is easy, right? We want to do the easiest thing. And when we're building something new, that's not easy. And so we have to stack the cards in our favor by reminding ourselves why we're doing this, by aligning to that vision or the emotions of the version of us that's on the other side of having what we want and acting from there. Because then as we see ourselves as that person and we embody that energy, remember, embodiment is often the missing piece in manifesting. So as we embody that energy, then easy becomes that person's default, right? That person's baseline, not our current reality of us. Does that make sense? So as we are acting from this version of us that's on the other side of our goals, of our desires, then the easy becomes to be like the lazy, quote unquote, version of that version of us, not the current one. And just remind yourself that you're changing something, and change can be uncomfortable, but you can do it. And so just by keeping it somewhere where you can see it every day, whether it's right when you wake up, in the bathroom, if you go to the bathroom first thing in the morning, keep a pen and it right there, or where you make coffee or where you eat breakfast, whatever it is. Just reminding yourself that all you have to do is write one thing down for the day. Just start with one thing, check off one thing, write one affirmation, recite one affirmation, write one thing you're grateful for, whatever it is. And just get into that habit of aligning your energy, your thoughts, and your emotions to that version of you that's already on the other side of that goal.
Small little changes every day. Gosh, you do that for a year, You have 365 days worth, whatever. Tell me you're not going to be a much happier, better person, completely different person.
And also reminding yourself that everything that you've done up until this point has led you to right here, this version of you. So yay, you're successful in creating your reality. Now, if you want to create something different, you have to do different things. So remind yourself of that. This is that different thing. This is me showing up differently. This is me being different. And allow yourself to then let that become less scary. Just know, I want this, so I have to do something different. I'm really good at creating my reality because I've created all of this. So celebrate that. And if I want something different, this is the one thing that I'm going to do different. And just then start adding in other things, but just start small. Start with one. Don't overwhelm yourself.
Yeah, no. Take her advice. Take her advice, because I'm pretty good at organizing everything and making it where it could be a little overwhelming, but just start small. Understanding, do a little bit for yourself each day. Start prioritizing your tasks. Understand and be aware when you're working on something that really doesn't meet your goal for the week, for the year. Is it something you have to do? Maybe, but can you get someone else to do it? Or do I have to do it right now? Swallow the frog and do the thing that's most important first for your day. Everything becomes easier at that point. Mm-hmm. So take your energy whenever you are best, whenever you're most energized throughout the day. Understand that with your time blocking on the backside and your time audit on the backside, and put your high task items there for you to do. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So we'll leave you with that. Just so if you don't have this matrix, it's all over my social media and everything in the last week. My stories, my posts, things like that. We'll put a link in the replay as well. And the replay email is when that comes to you guys. Just note that there's also a little link on the bottom to our YouTube channels. On those YouTube channels, that's where we have a whole bunch of shorts, all the exercises, the previous 12 weeks that we've done this. You can find all those exercises that we've gone through, all those visualizations, all of that education we've been building now for 13 weeks, and we're not going to stop. She has so much to teach. We have so much love to give. So check that out. You guys want to get little doses of everything. They're all on YouTube. Some of those visualizations are fun, and I'll use them on the daily even, because they make us feel great. So let's stack all these things together that feel great. Find those links to all of our social and YouTube in that replay email or on our social media. And next week, we're going to end up having a Q&A for this last segment that we've done.
Yeah, we'll do like a mini lesson, some coaching. So if there's anything going on in your life where you're just like, I feel stuck, or I can't get out of this, or I just need some guidance or clarity, then next week would be a great time to come with that question or that issue. And what I have done, we've done one of these in the past, is I tune in energetically to see what's going on, and then just kind of do like a group coaching thing based off of what you're coming to me with. So it's like some channeling, some coaching, some intuitive guidance coming through that we do with those. And then we'll teach like a mini lesson as well, if not a lot of people have questions. So we would love to see you live for that. I highly recommend, if you have any question, like, now is the time to use us. We both charge hundreds of dollars per hour for people to work with us. So come to this for free and just bring us an issue that's going on in your life, so I can tune in and get you past it. So
yeah, how wonderful is that, right? That seems so fun and cool. And we literally love helping people. It's just, many of you have already worked with us one-on-one or group and all of that. So instead of paying, come here for free. We give this as an opportunity. And, you're probably going to help other people in the process, because you're not alone in the problem that you're dealing with right now. We all are experiencing things that everyone else in the world is experiencing. So please don't feel like you are on an island by yourself.
Oh, no.
You're not.
Chances are I've been a captain of that island, and I've flown off of that and went to another island. And
I'm an island hopper.
We've all housed residency there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Come check out the motel we've got on each of them. But so, we'd love to see you next week. Thank you all for showing up here today. And we'll see you then. Lots of love. Take care. Have a
great
wonderful
week
weekend.
and weekend.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. Take care. Lots of love as always.
Bye.
Go kill it. Go get it.